What is going on, my friends? Hope you're having a great weekend. Really hope this video doesn't get killed in the midway through. For some reason, I end up doing all my reviews when it's storming outside, so I'm praying that the power doesn't blip and I have to do this video 2 or 3 times. So, alright, let's go ahead and dive right on in. The review today is going to be on a token called Quantstamp. It's currently trading at 25 cents. You can see here it was, I guess right when it first came out, it was about 8 cents. Hovered in between the 10 to 15 cents. Took a nice moonshot all the way up to almost 75 cents, 76 cents. And then it has had a pullback. But if you've seen the rest of my videos and if you've been in the crypto market, you know right now it's kind of a bad time to be in a market as far as just, everything's just kind of at a downward slope. But be that as it may, 25 cents is the current trading price. Volume is 2.4 million. Circulating supply is 617 million. And total supply is almost close to 1 billion. The markets that it's traded on would be Binance. I actually don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know. I'm not even going to try it. So that particular exchange there. Qcoin, Gate, IDEX, and Radar Relay. So it's on some decent exchanges. It's not on like Bittrex, Poloniex, some of the other ones, but still Binance is huge. I'm starting to be a big fan of Qcoin too, but Binance is kind of the #1 right now from trading volume, so it is getting a decent amount. But funny enough, or it's on an exchange with a decent amount of volume, but the volume is actually very, very low in comparison to a lot of other coins, which is kind of surprising. But on the flip side, this particular coin, I'll show you in a minute here, it's very, very new. I want to say it was November-ish is when, I think it was November 19th is when they dropped. Let's go over here real quick. Let's see. Yeah, November 19th is when the token sale ended. So it's extremely new, and they don't have a lot of what they want to do out yet. So you're at such a beginning stage. You're pretty much almost at ICO levels, even from the price standpoint, if you look here. So, I mean, granted, the first day, 6 cents. I don't know if you can hear the lightning out there, thunder, I meant. 6 cents here. It did hover around the 13 to 15, and now it's at 25. So it's not that much higher than when it first came out. So you're still getting in, if you get in, let's say today, at a very, very low price, assuming it doesn't drop more. Again, not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you what I'm learning. Let's cover the Twitter side of things. 46,000. Sorry, hold on. Come on, back here. Sorry, my dogs are freaking out because of the storm. 46,000 followers on Twitter, which is good and nice given the fact it's only been around since September of 2017. The Reddit page here has almost 8,000 subscribers, and 1,800 of those 8,000 subscribers are currently active. And it seems to be fairly active if you look over here as far as when people posting. So that's always a good thing. I like to see very active communities, especially when something's new. It's always nice to see extremely active communities. I'm going to skip this part here for a second. So they had their token sale ended in November 19th. They covered not only their goal, but got, I guess, another 20,000 on top of what their initial goal was initially. You can see the return. They claim it's a 3 times multiplier, 3.5 roughly times multiplier if you would have gotten in at ICO levels. And I guess that would make sense if you were getting in at 6 cents or 5 cents. It'd be even more than I guess now at this very minute. So that's a good thing. All right, let's go ahead and just hop right on into. So what is Quantstamp? So Quantstamp, it says here, is the first smart contract security auditing protocol. The way I would like to describe it, and I really, really, really hope I'm describing this correctly because I think I am based on what I read, I would almost consider Quantstamp as like the first cryptocurrency ISO 9000 company. And if you guys don't know what like ISO 9000 is, the best way to describe it is it's a set of like, I should have thought of the terminology before I started this video, but it's like a set of rules and requirements of like expectation levels that you have to hit and meet to become an ISO 9000 company. So for this particular situation, it would say, this contract has to meet these requirements to be like give it our stamp of approval. That's not exactly correct. And when I go into explain the token here in a minute, you'll see that's not totally exactly correct like that. But I also view it still similar to an ISO 9000 concept where Quantstamp is coming in and giving their stamp of approval based off their regimen of how they're scrubbing things, and so therefore you can kind of say, oh well, has your smart contract been scrubbed through the Quantstamp system to give it the extra not cushion, if you will, but just an extra like comfort level for people to look at and be, oh well, it's past their test. So that's why I say it's kind of the ISO 9000 of crypto, if that makes sense, if you guys have heard of that in the business world. So let's scroll down to here. Funny enough, they don't have a lot on their actual website itself that explains and goes into a lot of detail about what Quantstamp is, but they have it in their white paper, which we'll cover here in a second. But I'll just kind of scroll through the website. They claim they have 23,000 people on their Telegram. I haven't looked at their Telegram personally, but that's a decent amount, so I like that. They have what's called here proof of caring, get some caring love, and those are just airdrops. And they go in here. It says that sign in and sign up is temporarily disabled for the next airdrop. So I think it's just kind of like giving back to the community. Their team down here, it's, let's see, 4, 8, 12, 13 people on their team, plus you got these blockchain development labs in Canada, which I don't know why that wouldn't necessarily be part of the team. I don't know why they split that up, but they did. And then you have advisors down here of 8 different advisors. A lot of these guys are very well connected in other businesses between like Facebook or Google or Amazon. They have connections there, which I like. I always talk about I like the ability to be able to pick up the phone, make connections happen. This team, doesn't seem to disappoint. There are some other coins and tokens out there that may be better or have better connections right up front, but this team I definitely feel like could have that ability to do the same thing, so I do like that. Quite a few of these guys went to MIT and also Waterloo. That's kind of I've noticed when you go through and just kind of look in this area over here, I'm not going to go through each one, but quite a few of them have ties to, MIT, Waterloo. I think one guy went to Harvard. That might have been down here in the advisor section. So, right here at the Harvard Law School, Tom found it at MAPD with a friend at MIT. So, I mean, they're tied to good schools. That's never a bad thing. Doesn't mean you're going to, whatever. It is what it is. So, yeah, I like the fact that they have a decent-sized team. Again, I don't know what they consider this to be per se and why they don't tie it in the team. I don't know why that's separate. And they have a decent amount of advisors, which all have good connections to different things. Previously, this guy worked at Goldman Sachs in London, former CFO at 10X. So, they just have a lot of good ties. Here are their supporters, Request Network. They have some connections there too. So that's kind of nice. I always like to see 2 different coins and tokens that I like. I like Request Network. I did a video on that too if you want to check that one out. And the fact that this coin token, I always get those mixed up. This token and that, I don't know if that was a coin or token or not. I'm assuming token also is working together. So that makes me happy that 2 different ones that I like are working together. Let's see what else they got down here. Okay, so they make it readily available and easy to see, all the different social platforms you can connect with them. All the different things down here. The frequently asked questions section actually does a fairly good job of covering the majority of all the what is covered for Quantstamp. So I'm just going to hop on over here for a second and just kind of read through this, because if you've seen my other videos, I like to kind of, even though they might be a little bit boring, I always assume that people skim like I do and don't go into huge detail. So I try to cover some of the detail. Maybe you guys can listen and while you're driving somewhere, and then you can hear details that maybe you didn't, see before. So, what is Quantstamp? Developing a protocol that audits smart contracts using a formal verification in order to find bugs before the contracts are published to the blockchain. And also here. I won't step ahead because I just realized they actually answer something I was about to say, so I'll just wait here a second. Quantstamp developers seek to secure and verify funds using a distributed network of nodes. So I'd imagine that's kind of similar to like a masternode concept that they'll probably be pushing out at some point, which is pretty cool because I know a lot of people, including myself, I'm involved in secure nodes for different coins. Some people call it secure nodes, some people call it masternodes. I think they're basically about the same, but I know nodes, that's kind of a big deal for some people. So it sounds like they will be doing something like that. Similar to how Ethereum's node secures and validates a transaction, the Quantum protocol aims to be a scalable and cost-effective solution to the smart contract crisis. So if you look at it this way, they're a middleman concept, and I love middleman concepts, whether it's in real world or crypto world. I love middleman concepts because I feel like it's always, it's harder to go out of business per se, if you will, because it's not like one simple thing. It's like you're covering a whole entire industry, and Ethereum obviously is the smart contract king. And if they're tied to helping out Ethereum, I mean, I just don't see Ethereum dying tomorrow or almost at any point in time. You know, I feel like it's always going to be evolving some way, shape, or form. So I see this particular token having a bright future if they can pull off what they want to pull off. And I think it's actually needed. So what problem does Quantstamp solve? Quantstamp aims to solve the smart contract security crisis. Well over $250 million worth of Ether were either locked or stolen from the Ethereum network due to bugs in smart contracts. Currently, smart contract creators do not have a scalable, cost-effective way to enhance the quality of their code. Quantstamp aims to create the protocol that can automate the auditing process, enhance the quality of the smart contracts on the Ethereum network, because it's one major problem present before the Ethereum is ready for mainstream adoption. So, again, this just kind of doubles down on, you know, if Ethereum's going to be pushing out millions upon millions of smart contracts and they're vulnerable, and this token can come in and help secure that, not only is it going to be better for those developers and businesses, but it's going to be better for the investors too, to know like, hey, they've been scrubbed by Quantstamp and it's been given the seal of approval, and we can push forward because we're more trusting now that there aren't going to be bugs and we aren't going to lose money. I mean, and nothing's perfect, but this is, I think, the right direction to go. Let's see. I think we can skip the rest of this for the minute, and I'm going to go down to, well, I'll cover this. Why was it started? Richard, Quantstamp CEO, has experienced the problem firsthand after he had his funds stolen during a DAO hack. The DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organization, was meant to be a vehicle that allowed the Ethereum community to democratically improve the Ethereum ecosystem by collectively funding promising projects. The DAO was unable to achieve its vision because a hacker exploited a bug in the DAO smart contract and stole 3.6 million Ether. So that alone, I think, shows like, hey, here was a problem. That guy was affected personally. How can I come up with a solution to solve that problem? Boom, Quantstamp was created. So immediately you should see, even if you don't even watch the rest of this video, that's the solution it's trying to bring to the table. That's what it's trying to solve. And I personally, to me, that makes sense. I like it. It's easy to understand, easy to see. And if you look at the actual, what do you call it? The white paper and everything else, it's not as complicated as some of the others. I'm not saying it's not complicated, but I've read some white papers and just kind of scratch my head. I'm like, I don't really understand this. It sounds great. It sounds very detailed, and somebody who's more in the know than myself would get it and take it and be like, oh, it means this. I'm a little bit more of a simpleton just because I just don't know enough. I'm learning every single day, but the white paper was easy enough to read and understand. So let's go ahead and hop on over to that. Oh, real quick, I was going to show the GitHub. Usually if you see my other videos, I go to Crypto Miso and check things out, but I found when I started to scrub things through there, sometimes it pick up on certain commits and not on others because it depended on the repository that it picked the data up from. So, for example, it had told me that Quantstamp had not updated anything since, I think it was like November something. But if you look in here, this particular repository was updated 4 days ago. This one was in January. This one December. So, I mean, I didn't want to mislead you guys and be like, oh, they're not doing anything, because apparently they are. So I kind of have steered away from that for a minute, and I just always double check before I go back into things. One more thing. Might as well. This is my, before we hop into the white paper here, this is my Twitter account, and I remembered that I had liked and retweeted a couple different things on Quantstamp a while back, but I couldn't figure out where it was, so I ran through everything and searched my Quantstamp here. So you can see December 8th, Quantstamp had a talk with Coinbase. I don't know actually whatever came of that, but I like the fact that they were actively out and about, making talks with, Coinbase is big, and that's always a big thing. Obviously, it's not on Coinbase, and I'm not saying it's going to be on Coinbase, just saying December 8th, they had tweeted about that. January 25th, it says, thanks to Facebook for hosting us today. Big thumbs up, sharing the vision of the secure global blockchain. So you got Coinbase, you had Facebook, and I think I had one more in here. Let's see, where did it go? Let's see, Richard, the CEO, discusses the future of smart contracts blockchain enterprise at Coin, by the bridge at Plug and Play. Not even going to try to pronounce that. So I guess he was in Japan there doing a little conference. So, I mean, you can see that they are out and about. If you look at their Twitter page, I think they posted like 3 times yesterday, 2 or 3 times the day before. So they're very active on Twitter. The community seems active enough on Reddit, like those things. And I just want to point out that they had some nice little like connections or talks with companies and people that I think you would also like to see and know about too. So that's all I could find on my Twitter page. By the way, here's a little shameless plug. Come, if you ever get bored, oh my goodness, there you go. Oh, if you ever want to follow me, here's my Twitter page. I know it's crazy. I don't know. It was random. I was bored one night, made a banner, and I was like, what's the weirdest, stupidest stuff I could put on here? Put me when I was skiing, doing a wheelie back in college. I don't know. It is what it is. But come follow me. Never expected. Same thing as my my YouTube page. It's never expected 99 actually. I think never expected was taken by my friend. But anyways, I think maybe he's not my friend. I don't know. All right, so here's a white paper. I'm not going to go through all 51 pages because I feel like we can kind of cover the actual like major points and before we have to go through all 51 pages. And on top of it, I feel like we actually have covered the major points anyways of what it's supposed to do, but I'll just read this first part here. So Quantstamp is the first smart contract security auditing protocol. We are extending Ethereum with the technology that ensures the security of smart contracts. Our team is made up of software testing experts who collectively have over 500 Google Scholar citations. Then you have down here the founders. He went to Cornell. Founding members down here: Waterloo, MIT, Waterloo, and ex-Stanford and MIT, Waterloo. So quite a few, director of engineering at Facebook. I mean, again, it's nice to see where some of these guys came from. All right, let's scroll down here. Sorry, that's my thing in the background. All right, so it explains the problem. He goes into how the hacker stole 250 million, how he was personally affected by that. And I know other people obviously were too. The protocol consists of 2 parts, they say. So the automated and upgradable software verification. I apologize that beeping in the background. I'll fix it next time. Software verification system that checks solidity. Solidity is the programming language for smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain. And so again, that makes sense because they're going to be dealing with smart contracts. Smart contracts are with Ethereum, ties into their language. Checks the program language. The conflict-driven distributed SAT solver requires a large amount of computing power, but will be able to catch increasingly sophisticated attacks over time. An automated bounty payout system that rewards human participants for finding errors in smart contracts. The purpose of the system is to bridge the gap between while moving towards the goal of full automation. So eventually it sounds like they want to do the full automation, but until then, this is how they're going to bridge that gap. So these parts right in here. So you have contributors, and they will get tokens. So this is the way this works. They say they will receive the QSP. QSP is the Quantstamp symbol for their token, as an invoice for contributing software for verifying solidity programs. All contributed code will be open source, so anybody can check it out and see, make sure, so that the community can have confidence in its efficacy. Most contributors will be security experts. Contributions are voted in via the governance mechanism. And if you've seen any of my other videos, big fan of governance when it comes to different coins and tokens. I just think that makes sense moving forward rather than what currently Bitcoin has, and so I'm a fan of that. Validators, and I think I could be wrong, but that's kind of the masternode concept, I think, is what they might do. Maybe they're just going to have a straight wallet that validates. I don't technically know. We'll find out, I guess, as time moves on. Validators will receive tokens also for running the Quantstamp validation node, a specialized node in the Ethereum network. Verifiers only need to contribute computing resources and do not need to secure expertise. So again, as most nodes do, usually you have to stake X amount of coins or tokens to be able to be into the system, if you will. If it's not just the wallet, if you're actually the masternode level, then from there you get rewarded for doing checks and service. I mean, it's kind of the same almost across the board is what I found for most tokens and coins. Bug finders receive tokens also as a bounty for submitting bugs which break smart contracts, so that's kind of nice to see that they're constantly trying to find their vulnerabilities. Contract creators pay QSP tokens to get their smart contract verified. As the number of smart contract grows exponentially, we expect demand for contract creators to grow. I don't even know how to pronounce that word either. So that word. Contract users will have access to results of the smart contract security audits. So I guess after everything's audited, they can see it. And there's like a graph here in a second that we'll go through, and so it'll kind of show you the flow of everything. All right, voters. The governance system is a core feature of the protocol. The validation smart contract is designed to be modular and upgradable based on a token holder voting time-locked multi-sig. The governance mechanism reduces the chance of upgrade forks and decentralizes the influence of the founding team over time. So again, like I said, I personally like governance when it comes to coins and tokens. I just think it personally makes sense. I haven't found a better solution or better design than the governance concept. So I like when teams go that route. Here's the roadmap. They got, I guess they started in June is when they founded it. They didn't really do the token sale till right in November-ish. They completed a request network semi-automated audit in October. December, built the Quantstamp validation payment smart contract on Ethereum and completed the 4th semi-automated audit. So now we're getting down to where we're currently at. Let's go to March. So this would be the next stage right in here because we're at the end of February. Beginning testing phase and improvement of crypto economic incentives. Implement token holder governance system for the upgradable protocol. Then April, deploy to test network after testing and validating system. Begin academic review of the system. May, hold first Quantstamp hackathon. June, begin work on smart contract insurance with partners. July, hold token holder vote for mainnet after months of testing and incentive adjustment. And then August, they will release mainnet. So if you look at that, I mean, granted, this is still super, super early, guys. And that, I know other people have talked about Quantstamp before, but it's a really, really, it's at the beginning. I mean, they don't even have practically testnet out yet. So it's getting there, but to me, again, this makes a lot of sense. I think it's something that's needed, and I'm hoping that they can pull it off. And so this is the time frame. So if you are going to get in, don't expect anything to really happen anytime soon. That would be my theory on that. So the rest of this, I actually did go through. I skimmed most of it. I'll just go here. So you got the smart contract here. It's going to be shoved into the Quantstamp network. From there, it's going to be verified and shoved and pushed into the blockchain, sent over to the QSP IO for reports. A report is made. Then it's pushed down to a public report so everybody can see. Then a private report goes back to the developer. And then I guess he can make adjustments to this smart contract if needed. They also talk about in here, let me go ahead and read this part right here. So to minimize risk, the developer submits his code for a security audit via the Quantstamp Smart Ethereum contract directly from the wallet. The source code in the data fields, with source code in the data field and by sending QSP tokens. Depending on the security needs of the program, the developer can decide how much bounty to send. Then the smart contract receives the request, and on the next Ethereum block validation, nodes performed a set of security checks to validate the smart contract. Upon consensus, the proof of audit and the report data are added to the next Ethereum block, along with the appropriate token payout. The report classifies issues based on a severity system from 1 to 10, 1 being a minor warning and 10 being a major vulnerability. So I think what it's going to happen is they're going to kind of give back a grading system, if you will, to the developer and be like, hey, we found a couple errors, not that big of a deal. Don't worry too much. Or, whoa, found some serious errors, you need to fix them now. That's kind of my understanding from it. From that point on, if a serious vulnerability is not immediately detected, the bounty remains until the specified time has elapsed. At the end of the time period, the bounty is returned to the developer who requested the audit. So again, it's that's kind of the flow of how that works as far as, you know, the developer pushing it through, putting a bounty down, getting the report back from the system, and then going from there. They do talk about it doesn't, you know, guarantee a flawless source code, but provides a much higher degree of assurance that the code is secure by using both automated and crowdsourcing methods. The team commits to continuously engaging in research and development, making it regular improvements in security, you know, adding to the security library, new releases, you know, etc. So they do go into the validation node, the protocol governance, and I'm not going to go through all that for this video, but I think, and they have a couple different, you know, what do you call this, like infographics down here. But at the end of the day, I think this kind of covers for the basic person who's trying to figure out, like, well, okay, what is Quantstamp and what are they trying to do? And in a nutshell, I go back to ISO 9000 for crypto. They come in, they scrub everything, they give it the stamp of approval. Then the community can see, open source wise, like, yeah, you know, it's got that stamp of approval from Quantstamp. Okay, it makes me feel better now. Or, hey, this team over here, they're not using Quantstamp. Why not? Why aren't you using it? So I think there's going to be a demand that's going to start to build if they can get this platform to work well. That kind of pushes the you know, the population in general kind of like want that. Like, it'll be a natural demand, I would assume, because why not? Why not? You know, if I'm looking at something and I'm like, hey, you know, I want this to be scrubbed through different smart contracts, and this is what they do. They audit it, and they can do well. Why would I want that? So I think over time, if they can start to prove that this works and works well, and they save smart contracts from being vulnerable, losing money, etc., I think it's just, I don't know. Personally, I think it makes sense. So hope that video made sense to you. If you haven't heard of Quantstamp before, I hope you like this review, and maybe this coin will work out, token will work out for you. I apologize for all the random noises around. I don't edit any of my videos. That's just the way I do it. I research, shove the video out there, just get it done, post it, and that's how it is. Maybe if I grow a little bit more in my community, I'll do more. So if you like the review, I would really appreciate if you give me a thumbs up, and please do subscribe, because right now I don't get paid anything off of YouTube, and my only way to try to monetize at all is trying to get you guys to, my shameless plug, get you guys to use Brave browser. I'm going to put it in the bio below. It's a freaking awesome browser. It works with basic attention token. That noise. It works with basic attention token, and yeah, check it out. It's an awesome browser. If you guys dislike the video, please give me a thumbs down. Please tell me why, so the next video I can do better, and I promise next video that beeping noise won't be in the background. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.